Yes, sir. Welcome back to the Certified Male Podcast. And here on this podcast, we will be addressing all topics of life as we deliver our unfiltered, unbiased 2 cents on Believe Me When I Say It, everything discussion worthy. It's your boy Drew.
And it's your boy Tati, aka Mr. Slow Stickum himself.
It's your boy Bars.
And you guessed it, it's your boy Jay, aka Mr. Light Skin Keys Sweat.
During one of our earlier episodes, we spoke about finances and ways that you can make money without, just working and doing all the basics. But after that episode, I had somebody, ask me, what if you was set up bad? Like you was never set up in a position to have money. Meanwhile, you're looking at other people who was set up, set up great to have money. And they was wondering if it's like, if it's like a parent thing, would you blame your parents or do you blame the government? Like who do you blame in situations like that? If you even blame somebody at all. Do y'all boys think it's a blame to place when you don't have like the wealth growing up? The general, like most of us we went through something, went through hard times, but a lot of people didn't go through hard times. Do y'all think there was a blame on somebody for going through those hard times? And are you mad about going through those hard times?
No, usually with generational wealth, it comes. There's a lot of factors that play a part in that. Um, back then, our kind had to work real hard to get where they wanted to be, and some people just couldn't sit there to uh, come to the realization that I have to do 3 times as much as the other race to get that type of wealth, and some people just don't want to fight that. No, they don't want to go through all that.
Do you think they are justified for not wanting to go through all that? Especially if they're looking at other people, like you would see your associate or a coworker, they like, oh, I don't need this job. I don't need to be here. Meanwhile, you looking like, I need to be here. I need this job. Like I don't know how you set up to where you don't need this job, but you feel like you have to work. You get what I'm saying? So do you feel like they're justified for feeling how they feel about the generational wealth and not being set up in a good position to succeed?
Well, I think there's justification. I don't see like to me like I understand, but I'm the type of person where things like that I got to grind for. It just means more to me that I got to grind for it and it wasn't given to me. So the fact that our parents didn't well most of our parents, I don't know about you guys, but our parents wasn't grinding, wasn't willing to put in that extra work so they can make sure that their kids straight and their kids is straight, things like that.
You can only, you can only do with what you know. So a lot of our parents, I don't know about y'all, my mom was young. A lot of people I know, mom was young, daddy was young, and they is a lot of stuff that they didn't know, being the situation, the limitations and stuff that just our kind have pretty much. So it's kind of tough to say I blame them for not knowing something.
Same here for me. I believe in uh, don't put your sorrows onto the next person. Meaning that because the situation that I'm in right now doesn't mean I have to put the blame on them. So I technically would say it's a choice. It's based off of just choice of whether I want to stay in this curse that we call it.
So let me retrack on what I said. So when I said our parents, I mean like so. Think about it. Generational wealth is generational. So it had to start from. It could have started a long time ago.
Their
So
parents.
yeah. So their parents didn't put them in a position or couldn't put them in a position to make or have generational wealth. Like they didn't have the resources and the things that they needed to do to put their kids in a position to have generational wealth or to even think of starting or having generational wealth.
Okay. With that being said, my question to you is, what is generational wealth to you? Because to me, my thought process on generational wealth, when I say that I want to start, generational wealth, it's make sure that my kid is not in the same position that I was in when I was born. So it's not necessarily to become a billionaire before I die. My thing is, say for instance, my family never owned a house. By the time I die, I want to own a house. That way, I leave that to my kids. Now, when they're born, and they become of age or whatever, now they start off with a house. Now their dream should be to have a house and be able to put their kids through college if they want to go to college, so on and so forth. And that's how you to me, that's how you build. I think people only focus on I need to be a billionaire, but to me, generational wealth, when you really came from what we came from, it's it's like building blocks. So for me, like I said, if I succeed in getting the house and leaving that to my kids when I'm dead and gone, I feel like I helped out with the generational wealth.
You did your part. Yeah.
True.
For me, my situation personally, it was like different because my parents, they from an island called Dominica, where everybody doesn't have it. Nobody is rich up there, barely wealthy. Everybody's just getting by. Everybody's trying to find a way to get by. So they came to America to get a better life for me and my brothers and sisters, or in a better life for themselves almost. So it's like I can't even blame them because this was their definition of generational wealth, being able to put me in a position where I don't have to grow up how they grew up. The situation was different, and I also can't blame them because I know what situation they was in. It wasn't always, they didn't have all the money growing up. They kind of was behind. They didn't get a chance to start in this country and have a job or start a business, this and that. So them bringing me here or having me here is basically their definition of generational wealth, and I could appreciate that. I appreciate that fully because now it's up to me. Whatever I do with that experience, it's all up to me to make it happen for myself. They did their part. They took me out of, like what you said, Vars, a better situation for my kids. They took me out of that situation to give me a better situation for myself. So I can't blame them on that part.
Your goal should be to next step for your kids and keep that going. I think that's what's generational wealth. I think people on, like I say, I think people only see generational wealth as how much money they have, but it's sometimes it's the lessons or the things that your kids or anybody that's under you don't have to deal with because
The
you already went
opportunities you
through it.
get.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm gonna piggyback off that. I'm grateful of my parents not um, giving me the give me anything like generational wealth, right? Because I feel like most people like the way I grew up is the reason why I am now, and I'm in a position where I can give my kids generational wealth. But I feel like if I was given something, it'll give me the chance to be more lax.
But you did receive something from your parents. It may not be monetary, but you did receive something, which is to me a start of generational wealth. Because when she was young, she probably ain't get that. She got that
Right.
from her experiences, and then she passing that on to you. That's a start of generational wealth. That knowledge as well. Like all of these different things, it don't pertain to money when it comes to wealth. Like that's why I think it get lost. But people only think, oh, if my mom can't leave me this or my dad can't leave me this, then I don't have generational wealth. But knowledge is wealth as well. So it's just like your mom did leave you something. Yeah, it wasn't monetary, but she left you with don't do this, don't do that. Next, and then you build on top of that.
And like part of me, like, of course I don't blame nobody, but part of me would be like, I'll question, like, dang, if I was in that position that they was in, what would I have done? Like, my peoples, especially my cousins and stuff like that, my father, everybody, when they came here, they knew certain trades already. They knew how to plumb. They knew how to be plumbers. They knew how to be electricians. They know how to work on roofs. They know how to build. Like, construction was their thing, bruh. So I remember a couple years ago, me and a few of my cousins, we were speaking, and we like, bro, if our fathers had the mindset at the time, the knowledge at the time to come to America and put their construction business together, that would have set us up perfect. That would have set them up perfect, because they knew so much. They right now they building houses, they jumping on roofs, they got their own electrician business, they got their own plumbing business, they all doing their own thing. But if they would have put it together, you was thinking like if they would have put all that together, they would have been just one huge construction group, just one big construction branch. You could have took over the world with that. So sometimes, I'll sit there and think like, dang, If we had that opportunity, because we have the knowledge now, but if we had that knowledge and that opportunity back then, if we was in their shoes, we would have skyrocketed. We would have skyrocketed. We would have tried to make the
No,
most out
but
of the
we do.
opportunity that we got right now. Yeah, but no, not with that. I'm saying like they came here not they came here with that knowledge. They came here doing construction. So they came with the mindset to go work for somebody else and do their construction and then they up and up. But now, if I had that same opportunity, I would have came and really just linked up with my cousins. All my cousins know how to do something. I would have linked up with them, and we would have made just one big giant branch. And it wouldn't just been me owning one business. It would have been all of us owning the business. And then when we gone, we pass that business on to our kids.
But right now you have that knowledge, right?
Yeah, right now I no. The construction knowledge, no.
You got people in your family that's doing that stuff.
Yeah, they the same people. They've been doing it.
That's what I'm saying. So you got that knowledge, and yet that trigger hasn't been pulled.
See, it's not like that because how they was growing up, they grew apart. So they have all the knowledge they could like trust me. I used to work with one of my cousins in plumbing. We used to sometimes we end up on the same job as my other family members who do electricity. We end up on the same job as them. But they have this prideful mindset where they want to be doing better than the other. They don't want to be leveled. They don't want to like just think about it as a together thing. They want to see they want to be on top. They got a prideful mindset, bro. So they grew apart from that idea of bringing it together. Like even if I wanted to bring their stuff together, merge their stuff together, it wouldn't happen. Of course, I was learning my own trade and I would have been able to do that, but I stopped doing that trade. It was like it wasn't that time for me. I didn't want to do that trade at that time. Maybe with that particular person, but the knowledge, yeah, we have the knowledge, but the pride is a motherfucker. It gets in the way. It don't allow people to see the bright light at the end of that tunnel. Like y'all could have put that together, man. But because y'all got so much differences, even now, if we tried, we couldn't get y'all to do it together because y'all so prideful.
So status is a main thing that will mess up our generational wealth in our community, in our race. Like people, they rather do better than you than to help you. That's one of the biggest downfalls of us. We like I can teach you something, but I'm not going to do it because if I teach you, you might go ahead of me, and now I'm looking up to you, not you looking up to me.
And everybody be fiending for credit. Like I don't mind putting you on and you going to do your own thing. You won't never shout me out or say something, but I know you succeeding. I see you and you tell me you succeeding. Like I don't mind that. Some people they want their credit. They'll help you out. They'll let's say they did put you on that construction job and now you know what you're doing and everything, and they'll be mad that you didn't tell a certain family member that it was them that taught you, or tell this person that they taught you. Like everybody wants credit. They don't want to just help you just to help you. They don't want to help you just to see you succeed. They want to help you because it makes them look better.
Yeah, you see it all the time.
What I was saying is just back to your point of if your peoples would have came over with that mindset to, start a business or whatever. Like
Together, yeah.
how many things have passed your way this day and age that you pass up on that you wish you would have did? Like it's stuff that you don't know. If you don't know to do it, you just won't know until it come time. Until time passes, you be like, damn, I should have did this, I should have did that, or I could have did this, I could have did that. You don't know. So what I'm saying is that's why I'm saying the generational wealth that your peoples gave you is when you cross something that you think can be bigger to set you up in a better position, then you take that opportunity. And that's the portion of generational wealth that they gave you. Yeah, it wasn't monetary, but now you have the knowledge. If I got this trade and I see that I got a good amount of customers or blah blah blah, I can turn this into something that can be huge. Is what I'm saying. I think the only like generational wealth to people is just money. Not all the time is it money. It comes in just knowledge. Like for example, with the stocks. When I first started, I was talking to Dylan. It was a stock that I seen, and I'm like, that was a couple years back. I don't even remember. It was probably like what 3 years now, Dylan,
Yeah.
something like that. And it's just something I was looking at, just trying to figure it out. And my mom don't know nothing about it. My dad don't know nothing about it. It's just, you can't say, oh, what if they would have invested in Amazon? But they ain't even know what investing is. But they got the knowledge now to tell you invest. My mama tell me, my daddy tell me invest. They don't know what to invest in, but they know that back in the days they didn't have the knowledge to invest. Now they got the knowledge. Let me tell him to invest earlier, so he build off of invest. Now I need to figure out invest in what,
Yeah.
and then keep that going. And then my kids, now he know what to invest in what, and my kids should be picking up how to continue to make a profit with investing in these things, and so on and so forth, until you get to a point where, yeah, you at this billionaire status or whatever, and you at this comfortable status. But I think people only focus on the monetary when it comes to generational wealth, not the actual path of generational wealth.
That's yeah, and I agree with that. That's why I said in the beginning, I'm like, their way of passing generational wealth to me was them bringing me here,
Right.
them having me here. Like that, that's my generational wealth. Whatever I do with that, that's on me. Like me, my parents personally, I don't, I love the way I was brought up. I ain't got no regrets about it. Like my cousins, I just wish they would have thought about this and that with my parents too. Like I wish they would just thought about certain things, but hey, they didn't. It all worked out well for everybody. But the one part where I feel like, I pondered on this for a while. I really just broke out of this like probably a couple years ago. I used to be mad at my parents because growing up, I wanted to play little league football, and they from the island, so they're not familiar with this sport. Matter of fact, the things that they are familiar with is the hitting, the concussions, the bad things that come with it. So they wasn't really onto football like I was. So when I would go to the park and try to play for a team, I look good during practice, tryouts, everything, and then it would all stop when it comes to having to pay to play, because I used to think it was always free, but you actually had to pay to play, and my peoples wasn't on that. They was not trying to pay no money for me to play no football, no little league, no none of that. So I'm like, dang, like I wish I had that little league experience. I probably would have been doing this and that, a bunch of what ifs. You feel me? So I used to ponder that a while. Like, dang, like what if they would have got me into the foot? What if they would have actually paid that? Like, I'm a kid. I couldn't come up with that money. It was like $100. I couldn't come up with that money, but I went to my parents and they didn't want to do it. They wasn't with it. So I was mad at them for a while, but then I'm like, you know what? That wasn't my path. Like, I can't be mad at them because they didn't do something that just wasn't my path. Life worked itself out. So that was never my path in the first place. That's just how I look at it now. But back then, bro, I used to hold it against them. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
And that's just with everything to me when it comes to, like, it's easier to have the knowledge and then talk about the previous generations. Because when you just got to think about it, when we get old and have our kids gonna be looking at us like, why y'all ain't invest in Bitcoin? Like, bruh, we didn't know about no Bitcoin until it was too late. You only can do what you know, and if you don't know, what can you do? So to sit up here and try to blame the older generation for stuff that they either didn't know or didn't do, at the end of the day, if we're really thinking about it, like back then, you make, as a black person, you make a little bit too much noise in that financial world. That's the end of it. Look at Black Wall Street and all these other disappearing black communities. There's one in Texas, I forget the name of it, but they wouldn't even get them a post office or electricity, stuff like that. Like, so you gotta understand that was a part of that how you call it, that indoctrination back then. That rich black people is not safe for
They
them.
was they was trying to keep us down,
Right.
and they put fear in a lot of their hearts.
I don't know. I just think, like I say, is that back to generational wealth is more than just the money. Yeah, the money is good, but sometimes it's that building layer, them layers that you need to get to that ultimate goal.
And then, like you said earlier, generational is not. I think it was Jalen that said it. Generational is not just you and your parents. It could be their parents. It could be your kids after that. your kids after that. So like you said with the layers, if you putting down layers, hey, I'm gonna put down this building block for my kid to jump on. Now my kid could put something on top of that block, and now his
Right.
kid is wealthy. Now we talking about generational wealth. You feel me? And some people don't know that.
Yeah, let's just take my situation where your mama, your daddy making $8 an hour, and they trying to make it, and you see what they doing trying to make it on food stamps and blah blah blah. Then you get older and you figure out that the next her son or daughter is making $20 an hour, and you keep moving up. That's just and they keep taking that taking that knowledge into the next level, next level, next level. Eventually we'll all be successful. Unfortunately the elders probably won't get a chance to see it, but you put in the footwork that that was needed.
That's true.
To me, what it sounds like, generational wealth stem from being prideful and not knowledgeable.
The setbacks.
Yeah, that's the stem.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I don't think it stems from that because shit happens. I feel like the word, like what Var said, it was stigmas to keep black people down and just not let them go up. So it's not even just. Sometimes it's not even their fault.
Now I think what Tati's saying is true because it take a lot longer for us
To get the
yeah,
information.
not even to get the information, to just start that process. For whatever reason we set each other back. It's just in our culture, not everybody of course, but it's usually the bad that make the most noise. So you got a few people in our community that they rather see you fail than to see everybody win, which is unfortunate. So I agree with you, Tati.
But we also got to take in consideration that the things that our parents or their parents are going through, they're not in a position to have like extra. So what they trying to do, they're trying to survive. So they're not thinking about, oh, well, I'm gonna do this to do this for my kids, my grandkids.
Yeah,
They going day by day, just to make sure they make it for themselves. So them not being in a position to have the extra or the because some of our parents work 2 or 3 jobs. They don't have time to think about generational wealth.
they just
Right
trying to
now
put food on the table.
exactly doing what they need to do.
It's a
That
gimme. Mine's.
and to even go back to our last part when y'all was talking about you only do what you see. If you use that example for our parents, the internet is fairly new. Last 20 years, 25 years, been the internet. Like they only had their surrounding blocks pretty much. Whatever everybody in their surrounding blocks is doing, that's what everybody is. That's what everybody is doing. You don't know that this is. If you go 2 states over, they completely different than you. Like they doing different stuff. They even as far as the ghetto to the suburbs, you don't even know what the rich people doing. You just know you see them boys getting richer and richer. That's it. You don't really see what they doing to get rich, and then by the time you do see what they do to get rich, it's too late. It's not affordable for the regular person no more.
Bro, I feel like this country, going back to what all y'all said, basically, I feel like this country really, they had a system set up to where it wasn't even noticeable what they were doing. Like you were saying, I think Vars, you just said it about how they seen everybody around them doing the same thing, and it's like you can't even go up because it's what you see. You know nothing about Bitcoin. Nobody in your area knows about Bitcoin. So how you know? I feel like this system. You think about it, bro. When you drive around places in every black community, it's a corner store. Every community, it's a corner store. Whereas you go somewhere else, that's a grocery store or something like that. But we got corner stores and stuff like that where they sell the unprocessed foods or the not so good. You feel me, like that, like. Even Family Dollars, you see a bunch of Family Dollars in black neighborhoods, but whereas you go somewhere else, it's different. It's grocery stores. It's food market. It's a bunch of different things that you see. So they had a system set up to where we stayed within our grounds. You see certain things in your grounds. This corner store not taking Bitcoin, whereas their corner store taking Bitcoin. Their grocery store taking Bitcoin and everything else. All these cards and stuff like that. So I feel like you can't place the blame on your parents, your people, especially if you black, I feel like you have to consider all the obstacles that everybody had to go through. The same obstacles you battling right now, they had it even worse back
with
then.
no
You see
internet.
cops killing people now. Yeah, no internet. You see
The
cops
only
killing
way to
people
get
now. Can you imagine back then when they was beating them to death?
only way to get the knowledge is to read a book, just to find out that this book got you nowhere. Now you got to read another book and another book. Like we got the internet where you can read an excerpt and see, is this putting me on the right track? If it's not putting me on the right track, hit the back button, go to another link. They ain't have that. They had to get through the book to see. Well, eventually, hopefully, this get me somewhere. If it don't, then I got to move on to the next. Like it just, I don't know. I think it's easy to say what the older community should have did because we have the knowledge. It's like you can't really.
Our technology is advanced.
We got all the tools now, all the resources now.
Not even all, we don't even have all of them because if we had all of them, we all would be in this in another position if we had all the tools because we don't even have it. But when we do get old and have our children and their children like that, they're gonna be looking at us like, why y'all didn't do this and do that and do this?
Uh-huh.
It's
Yep.
like we didn't know about it. It ain't we didn't know. And now the only thing I can do is tell you, bro, when I was 25 to 30, but they said something about these stocks, and if you hear anything about stocks, find something to invest in. Like that. That's the only thing. That's the knowledge that we can pass on. If it's not, if it's not money, and I think along with the money, you should pass on knowledge. Because if you don't pass on the knowledge that comes with the money's just gonna you're gonna do everything in vain, pretty much. They just gonna go broke. That's all. That's what I say about them building blocks and making sure you pass on all of the wealth, not just the money.
Knowledge is power.
The money you just they just gonna go right back broke and have to start over in maybe 2-3 generations. Just gonna have to start over.
Like you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't know how to flip that money or turn that money into something or what to invest that money into, it's worthless. So having that knowledge and knowing what to do with that, or not even just money, just knowing what to do in general with life, it'll take you so far.
The knowledge. I'm gonna make sure that he know what I know, and he build on that. His son know what he know what I know, and he build on that. Make sure that all the knowledge from up is passed down, so we nothing is missed in the process of building their generational wealth or having their mindset on the right page.
That's what the real generational wealth is. Passing that knowledge down. Making sure that that next generation start off in a better position than you. That's my goal.
That's something I really wish I knew back then, bruh.
And you gotta also think about like there were hidden gems inside of like our parents and their parents
Right.
like that we didn't actually see,
Right.
or we didn't see as generational wealth.
Right. You just them gems. You miss them sometimes, but when you really step back and say, "Damn, well, I don't have a problem with trying to make something happen." That come from your people's teaching you always, work hard and do what you need to do to make sure you surviving out here. That's what that come from. Yeah, they may not give you $1 million, but they taught you you got to grind for yourself. You got to get it out here, get it out. Whatever the mud is for you, even if the mud is starting out, going to college or whatever. After that point, you got to make it. You got to make it happen after that. Like
And those gems also change with the territory. Just as life goes, everything else goes with it. I feel like that's important to know also.
Knowing what you know now, how would that affect your adulthood, like going forward?
In my adulthood, I would say it taught me to appreciate the finer things, not just the finer things, but just appreciate journeys. Like I would always like having something to look forward to, and I feel like that played into me appreciating having something to look forward to, like just being able to build on top of something. Like my people's put me in a position for me to do something, and it's building blocks, like Vara said, and I gotta set my building block, and my kid, he or she is gonna set their building block, and their kids are gonna set their building blocks. So it's just to appreciate the journey and everything it took to get there and what you put together. Because it all feel better when you know, get what you want to get out of a situation, especially if you do it on your own or just made it through a harder time and didn't have it just handed to you. So just appreciate the like building blocks and the journeys.
The effects that generational wealth have on me in my adulthood is I want to make sure that I'm a part of that building block of, keeping that trend going that's been started before me, and make sure I continue it after me.
It affected my adulthood by making me seeing my people not take the extra step. It made me want to take the extra step to see where it gets me. Knowing that people that just do the minimum barely get like promotion things like that, it made me do the extra step, doing putting the overtime, putting in the extra work, so I can make sure that I'll have what I need for my future. And as for my kids, I'll teach them the same thing. Just make sure they know that doing the bare minimum or it keep you up, but it'll keep you afloat, but it won't elevate you. So as much as you want be do the bare minimum, just take the extra step to do the most and see where you get.
I got a kid. I will make sure he making sure that he's sure of the things that he's unsure of. I would make sure he understands the importance of financial literacy, the importance of having a dollar work for you. Just making sure he's like 10 steps ahead.
Hey, it's your boy Jay.
And it's your boy Tati.
This your boy Vars.
And it's your boy Drew.
Your mail has been delivered.